I'd had this dream where I'm in a thunderstorm and it's raining really hard. It sounds like pebbles when it hits the ground. I try to block out the sound with my hands, only it doesn't work. It just keeps getting louder and louder. And the rain turns to blood.
It's just a dream.
Are you crazy?
We ain't gonna stand for no weirdness out here.
Hello?
Help me!
Did you know that a young boy drowned here?
Help me!
His name was Jason, and today is his birthday.
Help me!
This place is cursed. You're doomed if you stay here.
Help me! It's not funny anymore! Not funny at all! They're both dead. And he's still there.
Blam! Hello, internet fans, and welcome to another episode of the Buddies Forever livestream with your hosts, me and
Hey yo.
and
Broccoli and cheddar.
delicious.
Brock Lesnar cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Cock
Yeah,
Chestner.
thick Lesnar.
Oh my goodness, here we are. Happy holidays to everybody. This is, I don't know about you, Evil, but this is like one of the days that I'm always super hyped for. A little Friday the 13th action.
I forget half the time of what the day is. But
They bleed together, yeah.
yeah, it's been a good, surprisingly good day for me.
Yeah. So, God damn it. I'm feeling good, man. I'm in a great mood. You know, we told you guys last week that things were going to start changing. Things are going to get a little looser. We're going to try a bunch of different shit this year. And
We're taking the Owen Hart motto, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
So today, we just figured, as opposed to covering a single film, we're just going to hang out and we're going to talk about the Friday the 13th franchise as a whole and talk about some of our favorite moments, talk about some of your favorite moments, and just kind of kick it on a much looser scale.
And at two random points during the show, we have giveaways for trivia questions. So answer two Friday the 13th trivia questions. We got two digital movies to give away to you. Are they Friday the 13th? No. Are they related to Friday the 13th? No.
No.
But hey, free movies are a free movie. And unless you're on Amazon, it's a good thing to get a free movie.
Damn right. So don't give our live stream a 1-star review.
Go
we
ahead.
got Snarls Barkley in the house. We got Matt in the house. Freddie Voorhees, Chris Beredas, Matt O'Brien, Jelly Duck is in the house. Been a member for 8 months. A lot longer than that. I mean, I guess we've only had members for 8 months, but
he's a preferred customer for 8 more months. One of the OG Patreons, which be sure to join our Patreon, patreon.com/3B video. Get all your Deep Cut podcasts a week early. Check out the Deep Cut podcast, 3B video, /Cast Podcast Network.
Boom. I would have Remix pushing buttons, but I think he's anxiously awaiting
pissing for a pizza,
the arrival of his pizza that we ordered like 2 hours ago, and it's still not here. So that's one of those things.
It's got a death curse.
Yes. Yeah, you can't. There's no crazy pizza around here.
Oh man, what kind of pizza would Crazy Ralph deliver on his bike?
It's like whiskey for the sauce and like cigarette butts.
I can see him putting in like the tray of the bicycle sideways, so you open it up and it's all just smashed towards one end.
That's a calzone now.
It's a pizzarito.
Yeah, man. So yeah, speaking of Crazy Ralph, that's if we were giving out Alfredos, Walt Gorney would have to get an Alfredo for the first two films for sure.
Oh, but yeah, buy films. As much as I like him, I so prefer the Harbinger from Takes Manhattan, the deckhand.
Oh yeah, that's just Crazy Ralph 2.0, man. I'm surprised that wasn't his name in the credits.
No, that's Crazy. My name's Crazy Ron.
Crazy Rolf with like an O.
Yeah, it'd be great if it was the same guy. It's like they just did the whole like city slicker shit. Like, oh, this my twin brother, he likes the land and I prefer the sea.
Yeah, just put an eye patch on him. Totally different dude. Man.
Yeah, give me Jack Palance as your Harbinger in Friday the 13th.
I'd take that for sure.
It's got a death curse.
Yeah.
City folk.
I love Jack Palance. I really like him in Alone in the Dark. But we got Fembot in the house as well. And
Our guest from last week.
Saw a couple other names zooming by. But
yes. Of course, yes. He mentions that the final chapter is showing at the local indie theater tonight. I know, that's been my complaint, and I'll get it out of my way early. My complaint as of late is, I like Friday 4. I know you like Friday.
It's
4.
my favorite, yeah.
It's a great Friday 4.
Yeah.
But we can totally screen other Friday the 13th movies. I feel like Part 4 gets
a lot of love,
oversaturated when it's like, well, we're going to screen a movie. Which one should we pick? Part 4. Give me Jason Goes to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
One more
switch
time.
it up.
I've not seen Jason Goes to Hell since I saw it in 1993.
Yeah.
Give me that again. Is it Jason? No, but yes. But you know what? We've seen Part 4 a million times. It gets all the love. Spread it around. There's 12 of these movies. Spread it around.
True.
Spread it on.
Matt, before this goes away, Matt says Evil needs to create his own Crazy Ralph mixed drink. That's interesting. So if you had to create a mixed drink for Crazy Ralph, what would it be?
What would Crazy Ralph? It'd have to be like tequila rose, like the cheapest tequila you could find. Dirt.
A splash of Brute.
Yeah, served in an old tin coffee can.
Gross. That is gross. So yeah, since it is Friday the 13th, I don't know if anybody in our audience have you guys been
a can of Old Milwaukee.
Have you guys been having your own Friday the 13th marathons? And if so, what films have you been watching today?
I know the wife has started without me. She's done. She started with part 8, then she went to 6, and I think she's going to 3 next. I definitely told her once things are wrapped tonight, I'm going to definitely go into Jason Goes to Hell, maybe the reboot, or Versus, maybe.
Well, Jason X. What about Jason X?
Maybe.
Maybe. I've done 1 through 4 today, and that's like...
Yeah, you've been in sequential order today.
Yeah, and normally I don't do
updates.
that. Yeah, I normally don't do that.
You bounce around.
But today I just kind of felt like after we took the kids to school, we were working on tape head, and I said, I'm just going to put these on in the background and, just cycle them. So I really wasn't like watching them like a hawk. You know what I mean? They're just background noise today.
You don't have to. We don't have to do that.
No, but got all the way to 4, and then by the time 4 was over, the kids were home from school, and I was like, I can't really like start 5 at like 4:30 in the afternoon because it's super raunchy. So if I go to 5, it'll be after the live show. But yeah, so I have to wait until darkness.
Matt, I guess I'm assuming he's talking about the Crazy Ralph mixed drink, Heaven's Hill and Vienna sausage juice. So sausage water, and I don't know Heaven's Hill. I don't know what that is.
I also don't know.
I don't want to hijack, but Roger knows I spent $7 on a delivery of water. This is what I got.
They gave you Mountain Dew?
I ordered water and I got Mountain Dew.
Yeah, that shit falls from the sky, right? You don't have to pay for that.
It's illegal in Broward to collect rainwater.
It is illegal to collect your own rainwater.
To collect rainwater. It's illegal to collect shit that falls from the sky.
Yeah, isn't that ridiculous?
That's
well, we're right
next
to the toxic waste plant, so it's most likely a city ordinance because of the toxic waste evaporating. So it causes acid rain.
We all have a little bit of that shit in our system anyway. It's probably gonna kill whatever bad stuff you got in you. Go ahead and drink it.
It's true. So,
running through the Brita, it's fine.
So we got a lot of ground actually to cover, but in a very loose way tonight, you know. So
12 cinemas, yeah.
So let's just go ahead and just jump into part one, and anyone in the chat, let us know yours as well. Like we said, we titled this, you know, memorable moments or something like that of that nature. So what's a sequence in the first Friday the 13th that sticks out to you in the audience? There's a couple for me. And
Kevin
so I'm gonna
Bacon's package and really big, like on a big screen TV, like
Oh,
in
yeah.
his blue Speedo. It's like, oh shit.
That's Kevin's bacon.
I see his bacon bits for sure.
Like my number one is probably going to be the axe kill. I think that's a fairly suspenseful moment in the movie, and also we do that cool Tom Savini trick, which is one of the first times I'd ever learned of him openly discussing that trick, like showing the axe interact with its environment, you know, and so it's got some weight to it, and then sticking in her face. That's a really good one for me. But my second one, and I think my favorite part in the whole movie, which the franchise goes back to this well a couple times, is when Alice wakes up from her nap and she goes to look for Bill. And at first everything was hunky-dory, but they just couldn't find the other counselors. So they're like alarmed but not worried. Like there's no cause for worry. She falls asleep when Bill's going to go check the generator. And when she goes to check the generator, she can't find Bill, but the door shuts and Bill is stuck to the door with a bunch of arrows. And that's like that prime moment in the first movie where not only is the threat real, but now she's all alone. So that's like a very good suspenseful moment in the first movie. And that's always kind of stuck out to me.
Oh yeah, she didn't realize how heavy that door was all of a sudden. Like, this door is an extra 120 pounds heavier and kind of flappy on the backside. What's going on?
Well, it's waterlogged. Good. It's a waterlogged door.
That's good. I also super much enjoy Pamela Voorhees just smashing Alice's face into the sand.
Oh yeah.
Like that whole fight has a real like teenage daughter like challenging her mom type fight vibes.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, and it's also
like, you think you got it on me, huh? Show
right.
you.
Think you could mix it up with the old man, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, she it's very like, it's kind of silly, like we're laughing about it, but it's pretty like realistic looking too, like slamming her head into the sand. It's like
that's totally a move I would have loved to have tried.
Yeah.
But I guess I heard that Betsy Palmer was like a stage actress, so she was not used to like kayfabing those hits. So I guess the first smack was real because she's used to like you got to have the sound and everything echo through a place. So she just belted Alice in the face. They're like, dude, the fuck? This is a movie.
You can't be slapping people. Matt O'Brien says his is Kevin Bacon's death. And then the other Matt says we really need to check the weight limit on those arrows straight up.
Vibranium, titanium arrows.
Yeah.
That hold the corpse up.
You should wait till you see my trick shot, sweetheart.
Which fuck that shit. Like that dude's just willy-nilly shooting arrows like that close to a human body. Like that's a smack in the face right there, worthy.
Ned's a bitch, man.
You are not fucking Hawkeye.
And I will also, but they're dumb teenagers, right? Or early 20-somethings. So I mean, when I was 20, I was a fucking moron. Not much has changed except a lot less hair. But
and what the fuck? I'm blanking on the dude's name. The dude who's running the camp.
Steve Christie.
Christie. He like leaves to go to lunch.
Yeah.
And he's gone as much done as you can. He's gone the whole day. Lunch is like around noon, and this is supposed to be summertime, so it's not getting dark till like 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, yeah.
So he's at lunch for a good 8 hours, just sitting there ordering more coffee. I don't want to go back.
I think
bring me another cup.
Maybe he had a thing for that waitress.
I think he had a thing for anything.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, he's there a long fucking time.
You know, you got to get the adult out of the situation so these idiot teens or early 20-somethings can get bumped off. But you're right.
Take an 8-hour lunch break.
He is gone all day. Oh, Fembot with a $10 super chat says, Jason X Frozen Face Super Smash Fund. Hell yeah, thank you so much. That's up there as far as kills go in the franchise for sure.
I feel like that is like the thing that is known for Jason X. Like I think every movie has like the defining scene of it. I think for the first one is of course Jason popping out the water. That's the moment for the movie.
Which is, to me, I think that's kind of a shame. I know we've covered this whole franchise on our podcast, the Deep Cut podcast, and we broke down each movie. You know, got an hour, but and I know you and I've talked a lot about you don't get to part one very often. You know, you jump to the other ones, and I think like if it was just its own slasher and it wasn't tied to the Friday the 13th franchise, I think you would watch it more because it's very like got a sleepaway camp type of, it's
super sleepaway campish, especially with trying to draw out some of the scenes with this, let the camera roll. But let's take your jump through that. So what's the iconic moment? Like what's the defining moment for part two?
Mine, okay, so I have a couple.
I was just gonna let's just do like each one really quick. Like first thing that comes to your mind, like the most thing known for part two for me, it'd be of course Jason taking the double dip at it, having him burst through the window. For two. For three,
two for me is going to be the wheelchair.
Oh yeah, good pick. Three, what would you say for three? Him running to me.
Busting his head through the window in the van when his hands get rolled up.
Oh no, I'll say the axe when he's the 3D shot. That. Four.
For me, Jason bursting through the door.
I'm gonna say the mask coming off and hitting the ground after the machete shot.
Okay.
Five. I say Demon's outhouse thing.
Demon's outhouse is the best.
That's
it's probably Debbie Sue Voorhees' death.
Okay.
I mean, that's literally what the movie's known for, is how bodacious her tatas are. So
Six got to be the standing on top of the RV.
Oh, for you? Okay. For me, folding Sheriff Garris in half.
Okay, 7.
The house falling on him.
The stand up out the water, the back.
Gotcha.
His first, 8. 8's got to be Times Square.
Julius. For me,
I was trying to think of like the most iconic like scene that like that would be most known for. So that.
Oh, okay.
9. I'll take your route on 9. I'll say the excessively long sex scene that had a T-shirt made out of it.
Yeah, it's the tent spike for sure.
Yeah, tent spike.
Or not tent spike, whatever the fuck that thing is. Fence post.
Oh yeah, but it looks like one of those like road signs.
Yeah.
And 10, the face smash, frozen face smash,
frozen face.
Versus
the end credits.
Yep.
No.
The face off in the burning cabin.
Yeah, that's
place your bet scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Fuck, reboot. I'm gonna say the axe throw.
Yeah, probably. That whole thing out there in the like tall wheat field
just
or whatever the hell that
fucking...
is.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
There's, I think, the most recognizable scenes from the series.
Yeah. So going to 2.
Back to 2.
Yeah. So
oh man.
We'll go back to 2. So again, I'm gonna shameless plug to our free podcast, the Deep Cut podcast. We were still kind of wet behind the ears figuring out our format by the time we got to Friday the 13th Part 2.
Friday the 13th, we just owe everything that like is how things get changed as far as our journey goes, because part 8 was the first live stream we did where we got monetized.
Yep.
And Friday the 13th was the first franchise we delved into on the podcast. We're like, okay, this should be how we structure doing this show.
And
this is the formula.
So with Friday the 13th Part 2 on our podcast, we coined a phrase, which is the Brown Panty Award, which comes from this film. And that award is a podcast exclusive.
Yep.
That we give to a character that shouldn't have died. And
or at least feel bad that died.
Yeah. So Vicky gets the brown, she is the creator of the Brown Panty Award. And so I had a screenshot of her holding the brown panties, because she's one of the best characters in the movie for me, and she's very likable and a sweet person. If I had to pick like a moment of the movie that really, really sticks out to me, is after she's dead and her feet are being dragged down the stairs, but I could not find a gif of that.
It's a real feat, isn't it? Like that's really her. Yeah.
And I that scene to me is just, I mean, we went pretty long on the podcast just talking about certain things, and that one always sticks out to me, man, because it's like, that's a heavy death, even though it's a very light death, like gore wise and everything, but the implications.
You don't
and
see
everything.
anything.
Yeah, it's a gut punch of a kill in that movie. So
I can't not think of part 2 anymore. Ever since the realization that we kind of discussed on the podcast about that, is we get to see Jason's shack, and notoriously inside his shack is a toilet. Which I'd love the backstory we made up on that, of like, this fucking idiot thinks he's regular person, human, normal, so he must have gone into the camp and ripped a toilet out from one of the stalls.
That actually worked.
Yeah, threw that shit over his shoulder, drug it all the way back to his shack, and just stuck it in the ground and goes, I poo like human now.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't go anywhere. He didn't, make piping and shit. Like, he's just shitting in a box, essentially.
And it runs out onto the floor, which is gross.
So there's the difference I established between, like, Jason and Michael Myers. Is a thinking man's killer, and Jason is a fucking idiot who will just thinks, shits in a toilet sitting on dirt.
Oh my God, it's true. But I mean, we love us some Jason. We got Splatter Talk Cinema Reviews in the house. Says the reboot is great. Absolutely. Supreme Slice is in the house.
I really don't know why that didn't get like sequel kind of greenlit a lot quicker. I guess the hype died super fast, but
yeah.
I don't know anybody that really dislikes it.
And 2009 was a weird time too. I mean, if you really think back about like what was going on, we're ushering in like a new era of horror fans, and if it wasn't sitting right with them, it wasn't going to go nowhere. And so it is what it is. But
well, we're much worse now, where nothing sits right with anybody.
Absolutely, it sucks. Deadly 30's in the house. Camp Facer's in the house. What's up, guys? Happy Friday the 13th. So if we're moving on.
Maybe he sculpted his mom's head out of shit.
He might have.
Shit sculptures is definitely a thing somewhere.
I'm sure Jason has a lot of free time on his hands in between.
I'm not looking that up.
No, you're fine.
Shit sculptures?
You don't have to.
I kind of want to. I wonder what's out there.
We might have to. That's after live stream activity.
We can make that a patron tier.
It was the Elm Street reboot that put the red light to the sequel of the Friday reboot.
Which not to, we're going to beat the dead horse to death tonight, but I mean, go back into our Deep Cut podcast where we also covered the Elm Street franchise, and we've even live streamed about it. Like, I and Roger are convinced there is a really good movie buried in there.
There is. It's just not what we got.
Yeah.
For sure.
Chris Paredes asks, what's your favorite song from the franchise? Darkest Side of the Night.
Darkest Side of the Night's really good. Man. It's hard not to just pick Love Is a Lie. But I also really like Hard Rock Summer from Part 6.
JJ's Jam in the power station room in Part 8 is good.
Yeah.
It's not, music, but I love the score for Part 7, that kind of jingle that it has. They kind of recycled for the first DVD collection.
Gotcha.
Like menu music. Like they kind of really recycled that one a lot when it's not Manfredini score.
And Fred Mullen did 8, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's tons of great music across the board in the franchise. But I tend to always kind of go back to Love Is a Lie, which, that's kind of the jam.
The disco theme for 3.
That's also good. You got a sea of movies. What did we say, 12 total?
12 movies,
Freddy
yeah.
versus Jason.
We're just waiting for the 13th film.
And Freddy versus Jason with a lot of that new metal and whatever the hell was going on.
Capturing 2003
in a
epically.
CD, yeah.
Yeah, perfectly. Like, what's 2003 to you? Like, listen to this soundtrack.
Yeah. I forget the band. That
El Nino.
Yeah, there you go, El Nino. Yeah.
I may still have that CD.
I do somewhere for sure.
It's in a glass case with all my other Elm Street memorabilia.
Glass case of emotion.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the emotion is nostalgia.
If we're gonna move on to 3, I know we already kind of hit like bullet points of like specific moments, but
Star Wars, El Nino, Splatter Dark Cinemas, Freddy vs. Jason, boo. Man, that big movie's become polarizing, and I didn't realize it.
See, and here's the thing: when I saw it in theaters, we've had this conversation. When I saw it in theaters, I was so fucking hyped for it that it was like 2-3 times in a day, like opening day, like boom, 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 boom. Let's just, home video, like day of release, purchase, watch it like 2 times back to back. Across the board, it is a pretty fucking rough movie, but like, again, we're from that era of like, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, and we were like, we finally got even if it's fucking bitch ass jacket Jason, Ken Kersinger moves like he's in fucking slow motion.
It could have been just the actors outside of their makeup playing chess for 90 minutes, and I've been like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yes, but so there's a ton of love for that movie from me, but I also despise.
It's nostalgic painted.
Yeah.
We talked about, we would spend 4 hours downloading the 2.5-minute trailer just to watch it one time
on your real player. Man,
we love Friday the 13th Part 5. Well, Part 5 is in my top 3. If I'm picking a top 3, my top 3 is 5, 7, and 8.
Absolutely. Part 5 gets a bad rap, man, for sure. VHS Mikey with a $20 super chat said, I had to get my crazy Ralph on. It's got a death curse.
So
I don't know why I went back to normal voice there.
So Mikey's on a bicycle just razzing local teenagers.
My favorite part about Part 1 is how he's fucking hiding in the pantry.
Hiding in the pantry. The police are looking for me. But I had to come anyway. He's married too, isn't he married? Like they say, so. Like his character is married. What the hell is his wife like?
I don't know. Just as crazy. She's probably
you think just as crazy?
She's a head made out of shit.
God damn it.
Is it the bicycle? Is that his wife? Like, is it an inanimate object? He call it like it's something he just carries around. This is my wife.
I don't know, but he's crazy. So you never.
Why
know.
is he crazy though?
I think it's just because he's a drunk. He's just a drunk.
But it doesn't make you crazy. Is anything he's saying wrong?
No.
Is anything he's saying actually different from what the truck driver is trying to tell the one camper when she's trying to take her to the campsite?
No.
Well, here's the difference. You got some people that are like, hey, aliens are real. It's not possible that they're not. But then you got the people that are like, aliens are real.
Put on this tinfoil hat. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. That's it right there. The difference between having a MUFON ID card and just,
It's the
a pair
people
of
that say,
headphones.
hey, don't go to Camp Blood. And then the people that are like, you're going to Camp Blood, are you?
Have you heard about all the fires?
And the water was bad.
Which, how come that's not been turned into, like, I think it's still supposed to happen. We're supposed to be getting a series, a Friday the 13th series. I hope that's what the series is. We just get all these failed attempts from Pamela Voorhees,
like hijinks,
spiking the water and setting random fires to buildings. Like that's what the series needs to be. If it's not, I'm not watching it.
At the end, they tie her up and pull a mask off. She's like, I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you pesky kids.
It's old lady Voorhees, former cook at the camp.
See, yeah, I'll watch that shit all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Hook it up.
That's why she's killing these kids. She got tired of them foiling her plans. It's like the Dukes of Hazzard kind of thing, like trying to rig elections and shit. Set up brother as governor and stuff. Like it's literally going to be the Dukes of Hazzard meets Scooby Doo.
Absolutely. Are we on 3? We're just slowly burning through. So, with 3. Again, because I watched the first 4 today.
In 3 dimensions.
Just background cinema, having them on. And I love me some Part 3. It's rough. It's a rough movie. And like 90% of that movie's out of focus. It's very soft because they had to do the 2 cameras to do the fucking 3D thing, which makes it look really old. It looks like, even digitally cleaned up, it's got like a weird 70s look to it. But I digress. There's a sequence in that movie that I feel is absolutely perfect. And I don't know if we covered it in the podcast, but I know you and I have talked about this sequence. And again, it's the oh my God, you're all alone moment. When Rick is gonna go take a look outside, and the lead girl is like, just give me a second, let me get my jacket. And she goes to the door, and he's gone. And she's standing there yelling for him, and the camera pulls back, and we get this amazing wide shot where he is literally like 2 feet away from her, just on the edge of the house, and Jason's just like, I mean, these are the Friday the 13th movies. They're horror movies, but they don't really have moments of terror. You know what I'm saying? It's different, horror and terror are 2 different things. But that sequence, I'm like, that is paint by numbers perfection. It's very feel like what's his name, Bertino or whatever, that made The Strangers, like saw that moment and was like, what if I took that moment and made a fucking 2-hour movie that felt like that? You know what I mean?
It's a good moment. Plus you get it's for a long time I always forget about the eye popping of that character's scene, which is always gets a good ooh, which still kind of looks good today.
Yeah, I mean, you got that. If you look wicked close, you can see a cable or whatever, or a fishing line. But
it's still surprising. Like if you've not seen that, to watch someone see that for the first time, it's like, yeah.
And also the way that he crumples his Nike shoes, like the way his ankles fold. I'm like, dude, that's good stuff. We also get the trope now of Jason is the equivalent of a storm, and a storm is always coming. Always a storm coming in these movies, and Jason, he is the storm. Mm-hmm. Yep, and you ain't stopping it. All you can do is get in the basement.
Nope. Hopefully you can get into a van that has a reserve tank of gas, which, the fuck? How often do you change that shit out?
Well, my father-in-law's truck has 2 tanks for gas, which is fucking cool.
Just 2 tanks, or is it like tank and then ultra reserve tank?
Yeah, you flip a switch to go to the second tank. Yeah, that's a thing.
I'm just like, does that gas go bad after a while? Like, you just switch that shit out? Like, what if you just run on regular gas the whole time? You never refilled that secondary tank up. Shit's got to go bad at some point.
Gas goes bad.
Does it?
Really, oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not well, I was going to say I'm not a scientist, but motherfucker, I am. But I guess I don't do gasoline
Not a
science.
gas scientist, though.
Yeah.
3 to 6 months.
See, may I please
Really? That's
have
it?
the wallet?
Uh-huh.
Damn, what
I
goes
knew it
bad
was-
about it?
I knew it was about a year, but 3 to 6 months is really quick.
What exactly goes bad about it? Does it become less flammable? Or does it
Well,
become more
hey,
flammable? What
here-
goes bad about gas?
I want you to think for just a short little bit. The name gas implies
Uh-huh.
that it's not a liquid. When you
Uh-huh.
fill up your gas tank with a liquid, do you smell that? That's the gas of the gas coming out of the gas tank. It slowly oxidizes and it loses its potency.
Gotcha.
Or it evaporates.
You could have just said less fiery, and that would have been
It's
fine.
all about the
Less fiery.
It's not really about the liquid. It's about
Your
the gas.
gasoline becomes unfiery.
Yeah.
Baratus
Less
asks,
flammable.
who's our favorite composer from Friday the 13th franchise? There's only one name, really. It's got to be Harry Manfredini. Fred Mullins, fine. It's fine music. But it ain't Harry, you know?
Problem is Harry doesn't do anything but this score.
Yeah, it goes back to the well a lot.
Yeah, it was I can't think of that other movie that he scored that is just the exact same music, but
Slaughter
he's also
High.
Slaughter High. It's pretty similar on House, although he really kind of leans into the violin a bit in House, which it has a good. I think House has a creepier theme to it than any of his Friday the 13th works.
Which is weird because
That may be a
tone-
bold stance, but I'll take it.
No, that's totally. I totally understand that. But the weird thing about that is, the music is creepier, but the tone of House. You know what I mean?
It's
It walks
silly as
that.
shit
Yeah, it
and
walks a very
awesome.
fine line. It's scary for the first 45 minutes, and then becomes.
I used to be scared of
Petrified.
that movie.
Yeah.
And it was just the opening credits would still do it, but it had scary elements. It didn't get fun until Ben shows up at the end. Then it's like, oh, this is a fun movie now.
It's fun once him and George Wendt start having their little adventures. But
It's a giant raccoon, a dog with rabies.
solitude's always better with somebody else, you know. Man, there's a lot of stuff going on in the chat.
We should play Darkest Saturday Night music video. But we finally started getting hit for that.
Yeah,
but you
we
can
finally-
still watch it. You can still watch it on the channel. It ain't gone nowhere.
I mean, do you really get ads on these live streams?
I don't know if you do.
I don't know.
I mean, you can, but do you?
We got Groovy Movie in the house. Baratus asks who's our favorite makeup artist who worked on the Friday the 13th franchise. There's a handful of them, but since my favorite is 4, I'm just going to say Tom Savini. But
I'll go with Beekler.
Beekler,
for
yeah.
7, because and I agree, he's made the definitive looking
Yeah.
Jason. I think of Jason, I'm immediately always going to part 7.
let me say, I've said this on record a few places. It damn near gets me in trouble sometimes, but I'm going to say it again tonight.
I'm sure my part 7 stance does, because apparently that's not a popular movie either.
I love Tom Savini, but I feel like he's overrated. And that gets me in trouble because I think Tom Savini, he has the moniker of he's the king of splatter, and I think that is 100% what he is the best at. He is the best at death sequences. I don't think he's the best sculptor in terms of monsters, monster looks, things of that nature. I think he's a big fan of magic. So the element of like hiding a blood tube or cutting a groove out of a blade really suits him, and it really plays to his strengths. Don't necessarily think that he's the best sculptor. So I will go with you on that with Beekler, having a far superior look, a definitive look for Jason. So yeah, I'm with you.
And the difference between the two is like talking Night of the Living Dead, that Tom wants to go for a look that if it didn't invoke like what he was feeling when he was in Vietnam wasn't good enough, which is fine. A realistic approach is cool. Sometimes it doesn't work. Nightmare on Elm Street reboot. But then the difference between that and Beekler is doing it a lot more goofy fun. Like if we'd gotten the original cut of part 7 that he was intending, like just I mean, it totally sounds like some shit that you would have thought up for our movie, is just squishing a guy's head down to like the size of a baseball.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
It is quite awesome, but it's like, that's just goofy fun.
Yeah, that's just you can feel I worked for Charles Band in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can feel the ghouliesness about it.
Yeah, and it's fun. So yeah, no, everybody is like, yeah, Tom Savini's terrific. Yeah, Tom's the man. So not taking anything away from him, but I do feel that way, that he has strengths, and those are the things that I like to see him do. Also, very good at head explosions.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
But that's a gore gag. So
yeah, but that puts you into part 4, your favorite, and the one that gets all the attention.
Getting on your nerves.
It's starting to get on my nerves.
That's all right, man. It's all right.
It's still a fine movie, though. We have the best thing in the movie. Crispin Glover goes on a weekend trip and just brings
a picnic basket.
Yeah, it looks like a fucking picnic basket. And I was like, what's in that? Just a fucking 8-ball he's just carrying around with him? That's his whole weekend, is just a little basket of Coke and one record.
I don't even know that you could fit a record in there. I think we made that joke before too. Like,
maybe it's one of those smaller records.
Oh yeah, like it's just got "Love Is a Lie" on it. So
yeah, it's a single.
Yeah, it's on both sides. You got to flip it over mid-song.
Yeah, play the rest of it.
And that sequence of him busting through the door in part 4 it's so good, and they even used it in the trailer for Tom Savini's Scream Greats, which was at the beginning of Jason Lives. So to me, it's a very intimidating sequence.
Well, yeah, if there's any windows in a Friday the 13th movie, them fuckers are getting blown out.
Oh yeah, you start with a tight Warner, then you bust out to a wide. If there's a big window in that wide, somebody is going to fly through it. But when he goes through that door, I think, to me, that's the embodiment of the Friday the 13th franchise. Is you can lock the door, you can put nails in it, you can, you know what I mean? You can think you're safe, but he is coming through that door. And the way he comes through that door, even at 38 years old, every time I see it, I go, oh, shit. You know what I mean?
Shit.
And that's, to me, that's Jason. And that's scary. And it's like you said, he's a storm. You're not stopping that. It doesn't matter what you do. He is coming, man. And so, yeah, that's my bread and butter in that movie.
So we've been asked about the video games, if we enjoy the NES game, and of course the new one, which anyone who's a long-term fan knows we're a fan of the new game, because we got a bunch of game footage we played when we were
on the channel,
religiously playing that shit on the channel. I think we even streamed a couple of times on a Friday the 13th, 4-hour shows and shit. So that game is still phenomenal, even though it's going through a whole lot of problems lately. I know people are getting their ranks reset and
oof.
Yeah, losing all their perks and stuff, starting from 0 again, which I don't care. It's fine. I'll start over again. I don't give a fuck.
Give me some incentive.
But man, that original NES game, I love the artwork for it, which is a part 7 Jason with some really 90s looking color scheme behind him. I love the artwork, but man, the wife has been able to beat that game only with the help of a game genie. I've never even come close. That game is frustrating as shit, trying to get to the map.
The definition of frustrating.
Oh my god.
It's fun, and again, this is back when we were kids. We would rent that based solely on the sticker that was on the cartridge or the cover. Yeah. You know what I mean? Holy shit, that's Jason from part 7. I'm renting this. And the game is rough, man. But, didn't stop us from playing it, renting it every other weekend.
Yeah, we'd rent it again. Be like, would you want to play it again? Yes, I would like to play it again.
I would like to try and beat that again. 2 days was not enough when we were kids, But yeah, we profess our love for the gun media game, even though was riddled with problems upon launch and yada yada. That's probably the only game that I have ever like played every day for like 4 years.
Legitimately, like we've come close trying to find some replacement games, and it's held some steam, but nothing held the staying power that one in particular did.
Mm-hmm.
You can thank the Friday the 13th game for the old Rush.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't have Rush without Friday the 13th the game. So it's brought wonderful things to our lives.
Brought a lot of really cool people into our lives. Julian Bonifiglio, Regina Giglionti from Face Off, Sig Neutron from Face Off, like all those guys and gals that somehow, some way found their way into our lives, like
we
because
almost
of a
got
fucking
into
video
a
game.
match with Shelly from Part 3 a couple of times.
Fucking crazy, stupid fucking video game, and it kind of changed our lives, which is weird. So yeah, we owe a great deal to that game. But if you got to pick a sequence in Part 4 that like you love, what are you gonna pick?
I mean, outside of Crispin Glover dancing, which apparently was originally Back in Black, is what he was dancing.
I'm gonna have to sync that up.
Please, Back in Black, Crispin Glover. Outside of that, it's definitely probably when we were trying to go through the logic of Jason's movement of going inside the house and outside of the house, and his picking people off thing, like going outside the house to throw one body out the window and then going back inside.
Back into the kitchen, yeah.
Yeah, and then that weird as shit axe throw through Towel Girl's chest, which still I have no idea how the logic of that works. Like, it still has a handle on it, but it somehow flew through the door and lands like perfectly in her chest with the stick attachment still on it. Like, what?
He's a ninja.
How'd that work? That's not how things work, though. That's not how axes work, man.
You thought I was a paraplegic, but I'm actually a fucking ninja.
So that weird sequence and Ted trying to be slick, and he's just the worst human being.
He's such a rapist, dude.
Yeah, he's grabbing like chicks back of the neck and like,
give me a kiss, bitch.
I'm like you do not have any authority to be telling Crispin Glover how good or bad he is at getting hooked up.
Yeah,
like
if
this is your method is shit.
If Teddy and another girl are the last two people awake at that party, he's
Teddy's
raping
still
her.
Teddy's still dying.
Yeah, but
That's
he's going to rape someone. Like,
no, he's a scrawny little fucker. Like, every woman can outpower him. He ain't
I
shit.
suppose. Yeah. So then, moving on to 5, but Snarl says Tommy coming down the stairs as young Jason is epic. Yeah, that's a good sequence, man.
That's a weird jump too. Like, I would not think of that's something to do. Like, he sees a sketch of him as a boy, and he's like, maybe if I dress up to look like him, I'll fuck up his mind, and he'll think he's looking at a young version of himself. I don't know where the hell he gets that conclusion from that.
I don't know.
Tommy's
Maybe there's a
weird
deleted
kid.
scene somewhere. But I do got to say, as far as the Jason being dispatched, right? 4 is a really good one. 4 is, they could have ended the franchise on that. I mean, he gets mincemeated, you know?
I mean, that's the first time we were going to end the franchise.
Yeah. We think it's over.
Yeah, we've ended it twice
Mm-hmm.
since, yeah, and it's not happened, so. Yeah.
It's a good, like, they stick the landing in 4, for sure. You know, whereas, like, you and I, we really like 7, but 7, to me, has, like, one of, if not the weakest endings in the franchise. But still a great movie, but has kind of a rough ending.
Yeah. Well, we're almost almost done with the first hour. Should we try out one trivia question / giveaway?
Yeah, whatever you got.
What do we got? All right, which
For Clerks 3.
yeah, we'll give for the giveaway of Clerks 3, the digital copy. First one to say in the chat. Name the killer in Friday the 13th.
It makes it a hell of a lot easier if I win this, so I'm just going to type this in right here.
That was some low-hanging fruit.
I can't spell it right.
Boom,
somebody
Snarls,
look at me.
Pamela.
Pamela.
Thank God it was Snarls. I don't want to have to go through fucking finding out your fucking names and fucking be like, all right, meet me in the Discord so I can fucking tell you what your thing is.
Making remix work makes him angry.
Snarls, you won yourself a copy of Clerks 3.
There you go.
Don't worry, we will have a second giveaway coming in the next hour, so you can win another digital movie.
Yes.
So
You won't get
Snarls
Clerks
win
3.
So, moving to part 5. Like we said, the last
One of
one
my
is
top 3.
the final chapter. So Jason is dead. In this movie, it's not a cop-out. Like, he really is dead.
Yeah,
So,
a few times the movie's like stuck with me, like, fuck it, he is dead.
not Jamie Lee Curtis. I was going to say, how Danielle Harris stabbed her stepmom in the bathtub? She didn't kill her. It's fine. Nah.
Halloween is notorious for like, we're going to go there. Never mind, we're not going to go there. That was a mistake. We're going to fix that.
That's a Halloween 4 problem, says Halloween 5. That's a Halloween 5 problem, says Halloween 6. Yeah. They just keep
Friday the
doing
13th, they're like, fuck you, we're gonna try it for a whole movie and be like, yeah, we made that decision.
Mm-hmm. And I'm
We're
gonna tell you
sticking
this
with it.
right now. Evil and I, our feet are planted firmly in the sand. We are not disappointed or let down in any way, shape, or form with Friday the 13th Part 5. Like,
No.
I am A-okay with it, and I can remember when I saw it at a young age being A-okay with it, and I know you were A-okay with it because this was one of your first Fridays.
It was.
So
So
you're
I had
like-
no problem at all with like, oh, maybe it's that way every movie. Like, it's gonna be some Scooby-Doo shit,
Yeah.
like pull the face off, and I'm like, oh, it's Old Man Rivers.
Yeah, it's the old paramedic, and it's funny for the amount of hate that this movie gets. It really is like it's a carbon copy of the first Friday the 13th, just for
That's who done
Cinemax, but for Cinemax. That's the
Yeah,
best way to
there's-
describe it.
It is, but it is a lot funnier of a movie. Maybe in that aspects you would traditionally think funny, but to me, funny is just how this movie kind of jump starts with suicide from Return of the Living Dead, just annihilating Joey with this axe. Like, we watched it a week or so ago, and I paused so I could count like 20 something whacks across the back, and enough shots to take an arm off. So it's like
it takes
he had
one
to
good
been-
one to get an arm off.
yeah, which okay, well you kind of can calculate what 2-3 seconds like per swing. So there's a good probably 2 minutes of people just
chopping him.
yeah, he's just chopping this guy, and people are just like, we should do something.
Wait till he gets tired and then
Yeah,
disarm him.
that's the dude. That's Indiana Jones dude. Is like, let's just wait for him to wear himself out, then we'll tackle him.
It just makes me think of that Key and Peele skit. And disarmed. Nope.
Like, it's nuts, and he has such the satisfied look on his face after when he's sitting in the squad car, like, my work is done here.
Got him. But what?
And he lives. That's even the more fucked up thing to think about is that kicks off the paramedic going on a mad killing spree, and he kills everybody but the guy that killed his son.
That's true. Yeah. So he gets
In the Friday franchise, Vic is still alive.
Rest in peace, Mark
in-
Venturini.
In prison, but he's living his best life.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got 3 hots and a cot. Probably got Showtime.
Yeah, and Roy's like, fuck it, I ain't gonna be able to get to him, but the rest of this camp, boy, they're gonna pay.
They gone. Yeah, he slaughters the fuck out of everybody.
2 random kids that are going to a gay bar, it looks like, with their leather hats and shitting in the woods, which I'm like, ugh. Just what you want to do before going to possibly meet some, hookup potential is taking a shit in the woods while wearing leather pants.
Big old steamy summertime shit.
Yes. Shitting in the woods in the summertime in leather pants, and then going about the rest of your evening that way.
Oh my god. Well, and then also kills the Lana the diner girl, the paramedic or whatever, that not the paramedic but the mental institution guy, the pervert guy.
Yeah, the coke-riddled ambulance side rider who brings his porn magazine to his job so he can look at it while he's transporting patients across the state.
Beautiful. Sit there. I don't give a shit.
Like, definitely got to be related to the guy we were talking about when we covered Time Cop that's just watching VR porn on his government job.
Yeah. Well, and then also, he kills the transient, the vagrant that's helping Ethel. Like, there's a lot of, like, side quest kills in this movie. You know what I mean?
Friday 5 is like, it's like a musical. Like, you can't go too long without a dance sequence. And it's like, we're not, or because the director did porn directing, like, we can't go more than a couple minutes without a kill or fuck scene. So,
a couple of boobies.
Throw them all in there. So it's like, let's spend a couple minutes. Just introduce somebody so we can kill them, please.
Which is also crazy that Lana from the diner in the script, and originally she was not supposed to show her boobs. And then the actress herself came up with the idea to flash her boobs in the, you know what I mean? Like, so Danny Steinman potentially would have, there would have been 2 less boobs.
I don't believe that.
Right? I feel like Danny Steinman was like, here's an 8-ball of real Coke, $25 and show your boobs.
I don't buy that for a hot second that he's like not thinking, like taken back, like, what, you want to show what?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Well, that's new.
Got a lot of people in the chat bringing up not Stunt Tommy, but Karate Tommy, but he's Stunt Tommy for sure.
He beats the shit. Which I like when we did the Cult 45's podcast. Like, that's nothing more satisfying than beating the shit out of somebody and they're just falling down your body and you're kicking the hell out of them. Like,
just crawling up you, like begging. Sorry, pal.
And the realistic scene is after that dude gets away, like, he should be like wheezing when he's yelling for his mom on the motorcycle. Like, he should have a collapsed lung, just air me mom.
Yep. I need to go to the ER. Take me to Roy. Call me an ambulance.
I gotta go to urgent care. Take me to the Walgreens.
What's our favorite quote from Friday the 13th Part 5? Well, there's about a batrillion of them, but I
bunch of pussies
want to be with you. I said I didn't mean it. There's so many.
Breakfast.
I could have done that. You don't set a place for a dead person.
Demon, you'll feel better after you shit.
Freaking A, where'd you get that? Basically every sentence in this movie is gold. Gold.
What is Demon's life like? Like, what is he just visiting? And does he have, what is all, because he offers pizza and enchiladas that are just in this conversion van he's living out of, presumably.
Another shameless plug to our podcast. I think we had surmised that he was perhaps a traveling musician.
Oh, yeah, because of the wardrobe. We're like, definitely.
Yeah, he's got to be in a band. Has to be in a band.
He was the original front man for the Power of the Night. Till Johnny Steele took his job.
It's just like one of the backup guys in Morris Day and the Time. Like
he's Wah!
Yep, that's him right there. Doom 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 doom.
Good tie-in back to Clerks.
Absolutely.
He hurt me, ma.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. There's seriously every single line of dialogue. And again, I think that goes with it's so lewd. This movie is so like gratuitous but it hits this weird level. Yeah, filthy, but it hits this weird level of absurdity where like you're still taking it seriously, but it's so fun. Like it's a very fine line to walk. You know what I mean? It hasn't crossed into parody land yet.
True.
But it's very funny.
And man, Freddie Voorhees bringing up that stew, which I what the fuck is up with that stew, man? It looks like water and potpourri leaves, and it looks like some shit you would be serving to like a military unit. Like it's 20 gallons worth of stew. Like, is this just to feed the two of you and the guy cleaning the chicken coop, or are you throwing this shit out when you're done eating it? Is this for one time, or is this for a week's worth of stew?
Gotta be. That's one fucking ugly man that goes there, mama.
Nice and pretty, I know.
It definitely is like they're gonna put that in the ice box. You know what I mean? They're gonna hang on to that, reheat
Ice
that.
box.
Yeah. Reheat that
They
bitch.
don't have ice there. You know, they're bathing with that same water probably.
Ugh. That's what the flowers are in there for.
Sunday's bath day, ma.
So gross.
There's your good summation of part 5. Then you move on to, then you go on to 6, which is, man, maybe the most commercially like popular one.
That's Snarl's favorite is 6, which we can get to after our break.
Ooh.
We'll hit our commercial break and we'll come back and we'll truck more through this franchise and throw out another random trivia question for you guys. Hey, we have 13 people on
Hey,
Friday
did you guys know that we made a movie and now we're making another one? A lot of you people don't pay attention. We're going to be running a trailer for it.
Pay attention to that.
You people.
"20 years ago, a prank took his life.
Remember, you can't tell anybody about this or you're dead.
A curse was born. The quiet little town of Brower, Illinois moved on.
So what happened?
One day, he just up and disappeared. I say it doesn't add up. There's something we're missing here.
Until
My husband, God rest his soul, he was obsessed with that video store. All kinds of weird things used to happen there.
Yeah, fascinating. Hope you sell the rest of your shit, lady.
What's all that?
We hit a bunch of garage sales today and got all these movies and stuff.
Yeah, check it out. Thought we could maybe like hook this thing up, see if there's any like homemade porn, snuff films.
You guys bought VCR and Rewinder? You know you don't really need this. Was this supposed to sound like that? Probably not, but it's seen better days.
At least it still works. Must be my lucky day.
And now, Jacob is back.
911, what's your emergency?
My friends, there's blood everywhere. They're all hurt, they're hurt real bad.
Sir, are you there?
No, sorry! No!
Tapehead, the return of Jacob Cobb.
It's Brower, Illinois. What's the worst that could happen?
And we are back. What are our thoughts on the characters from Friday the 13th Part 5? I think, we talked about this.
Great breaths.
A lot of boobies. Juliet Cummins for life for me. But we spent an hour kind of trying to figure out why these people are in this halfway house. Like, what's the crime that they've committed? So if you really want to get into our
two of them are sexaholics. That's why they're there. They just can't stop banging each other, and they're like, they need to be rehabbed in the woods.
Yeah, but Radis, if you do listen to podcasts, the Deep Cut podcast is free and available on all major podcast apps. And we did spend an hour covering Friday the 13th Part 5.
That's our faux reason for this entire live show tonight, is just to get more eyes on the podcast.
Plug the podcast.
Podcast.
But so moving on to Jason Lives, Part 6. As you were saying right before the commercial break, probably the most commercial Friday the 13th film. This is MTV era.
Oh yeah, 86 music videos. Yeah, this is to me, I think this is the Dream Warriors of the Friday series. Like, we get a music video tie-in. It's kind of the most commercially popular one, and a fairly definitive look as well. Like, we swapped out now. We're not mongoloid, like human breathing living Jason. Now we've crossed over into the undead Jason. So we have that old Jason kind of look with the green shirt, gray pants.
Yeah.
But he's dead now.
So speaking of that, dude, I was doing some thinking today when I was prepping for my little half marathon or whatever of the films.
Half-a-thon.
And I was thinking about this movie. And I was just thinking about the franchise as a whole. And for me, there's an important moment that happens in this movie. That is, it happens in this movie for the first time in the franchise. And kind of sets a tone for me. And that is that up until this movie, Jason has never been shot by a firearm. This is the first time on screen he gets shot with a firearm. And there is a fucking amazing standoff between him and Sheriff Garris. And when Sheriff Garris shoots him in the fucking face, and he just goes boom and comes back. Like, again, the whole tone of this movie, very commercial, very fun, right? But that is one of those moments to me that stands out across the whole franchise of, like, this is a different motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, he's been like, we talk about the, like, oh, you know, you stabbed him, oh, you chopped him in the side of the head, or oh, you hung him. Whatever, like, means of dispatching that have happened prior. Getting shot is something that's, like, it's a big thing. Freddy Krueger never really shot with guns. Michael Myers doesn't, Michael Myers gets shot with guns a lot, but Jason, not until this movie, the 6th movie, shot with a gun and takes it, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird, like, milestone in this movie for Jason.
He takes it, and we also get the only sheriff probably in the franchise that's not an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's taken, like, he's not on Tommy's side from Jump Street, which is fine, because I like the approach of, like, well, if this was real life,
yeah,
we would be doing the same shit probably. The Sheriff Garris is like, this kid is nuts.
Yeah, lock him up.
Just barreling through in a police station in the middle of the night, just ranting and raving and trying to get into the gun case. But, like, this kid needs to be put away now.
I'm really sorry about what he did to your family.
I mean, he's not wrong. Like,
yeah.
and what he does is, like, not wrong. Like, get this fucking idiot out of my town. We don't need him around here stirring shit up, because that's exactly what he does. As soon as he's locked up, anyone that comes by, he's like, he's the new Crazy Ralph for a hot minute. Like, kids roll over, like, Jason's probably out there. He's gonna come kill you guys.
That's true.
Hey, shut up.
This is also really cool because it's the end of a timeline within the timeline. Like, it's our Tommy Jarvis trilogy wrap up. So
we've had a different Tommy. We have a different Tommy every movie, and here's our definitive and best Tommy.
Yeah,
Tom
absolutely.
Matthews is the best Tommy Jarvis. The reason why they brought him into the game. And he's made like the fan films.
Yeah.
And yeah, cool. Snarls has said he's seen Tapehead.
That's true.
Didn't have to pay him or bribe him or nothing. He just, of his own free will, decided to come in and watch a screening of our movie.
Came in and watched Tapehead, which is fucking bananas to me.
Yeah.
But this is cool because we finish a story within the story. You know, I mean, sure, they could have brought Tommy Jarvis back in 7.
This is where they took the Halloween approach of like, they ended 5 like, maybe Tommy's gonna start killing people, and they're like, nah,
just kidding, gotcha,
just fucking with you, he's fine.
Mm-hmm. He's all right. And he's the man in Jason Lives.
Reading all his occult books, which
got from
you look at that,
occult.
like that doesn't make any sense, because he originally is like, I gotta make sure he's dead. He's not moved or been out of his grave in 10 years, probably, but like, I need to make sure, so I'm gonna burn the body. But when that falls through and he accidentally resurrects him, then he's like, now I need to return him to the lake. That's the only way to kill him. I just read this in a book.
Just pulling all these ways of dispatching him out of his ass.
Completely out of his ass. But it makes sense. Like, if I was like, yeah, to me, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, return him back to where this shit kind of started.
Well, they kind of do that in Freddy vs. Jason as well. Like, take him home and it'll leave us alone.
Yeah, it makes more sense than like, I got to crack open his casket and set him on fire, which that's just, you know, desecrating the dead crime at that point.
But I do love that the means of resurrection in this film, you know,
Frankenstein shit.
Yeah, this movie has a very different tone across the board. Like you said, it's a lot lighter.
Intentionally comedic in spots, as opposed to ironically comedic for us.
And still somehow manages to remain a fairly violent film. But this is one of the movies in the franchise, I know you and I have discussed this, that it feels like an hour long. This movie fucking flies by.
Yeah.
It does not, there's not a slow moment in Jason Lives wherever you're like, really? Like, it doesn't drag ever.
Which is my problem, I think, with part 1. There's too much of like
Part 6 is so cool.
Get up and go get a drink and be fine.
That I know I've talked about this on the live stream. I've talked about it on the podcast. Part 6 is so cool and has such a unique sound and look and everything to it that, to me, when I watch the franchise, Part 6 feels newer than Part 7, because Part 7 has a very like muted look, and the hair all of a sudden is bigger in 7. Like, it feels like we've gone back in time. You know what I mean? Like, Part 6 feels like a 90s movie to me, and Part 7 feels like an 80s movie. Weird. But I think it's just how bright it is.
It's definitely brighter, because 7 is a lot darker, and even 7 also is trying to be like atmospherically darker, which may have been a wrong turn. I guess was just how the momentum was going, because 6 was fun,
snappy,
snappy, silly, MTV-ish, and 7 was trying to be like, nah, man, you remember Part 4 is kind of dark, heavy spots? We're gonna go back to that all of a sudden now, which can be, I guess, kind of jarring, but I really didn't mind at all.
No, I don't mind it at all. But it just, like,
I'm thinking of like the general audience that went to go see it, not the hardcore fanatics who are doing a live show about Friday the 13th, the series. We're not talking about those people. They're different. We're talking about people that just like Friday the 13th. I wonder what that's all about. Let's go see Part 6.
They watch them on AMC. They don't like own them.
Yeah, they're just like, well, I guess it's on the TV tonight. We're gonna just throw it on, and this we'll have it on there. We'll just watch it, see what's going on. I think it's got that one guy in it, Michael Voorhees or whatever his name is. We'll just see what he does.
Yeah, old casual horror fan watching stuff on Halloween night on AMC. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But you know, not gatekeeping by any means, but you know,
fucking gatekeepers. Bring them all in.
Or kill the gatekeepers.
No, but just talking about audiences in general being like, well, this last one was kind of fun and funny, so it's like they probably were going in expecting a similar thing for 7, and they didn't get that at all at 7. 7 went back to what it was in like 4 and 5, like dark and ironically funny in places.
Mm-hmm.
Like we get a headbutt from a plant with a severed head in the potted plant.
Pothead, get it?
Hey,
Hey-o.
pothead. Headbutt, boom. Hilarious.
But I'm going to say this, too, about Jason Lives. I wholeheartedly believe that Jason was going to kill that little girl, Nancy. I wholeheartedly believe he was going to murder some kids and then got interrupted.
You think he was going to do that? Like in Versus, when he's just killing people at the crop circle party, just
yes,
inside that cabin of children, just whoosh, 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 whoosh.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like when he kills all the sleeping kids with Hypnosil and Freddy vs. Jason, that they cut that out. I think that's in the book where he just walks through and kills all those kids that are like whispering.
I need the book.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's
I'm like 99% sure he kills them all.
How do you hold out on that news until now? You didn't tell me until now?
I'm pretty sure we've had this conversation, but either way.
I don't think so. I don't think so, sir.
I like that old Michael Voorhees feller. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, he's good. He's from Texas.
Yeah, he wears that white thing over his face and doesn't talk. I like that shit. That's good stuff.
But yeah, I totally think he was gonna kill those kids.
I don't know. I don't feel that.
You don't feel that, but I'm glad.
I don't see.
He doesn't.
I don't see that. I see a 7 would do that shit in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I don't see CJ's Jason necessarily doing that.
Which is why, if that was like originally planned, I'm glad that they didn't do it, because it doesn't feel like it fits, right? Because
it wouldn't. No.
If he murdered all those kids,
this ain't fun anymore, man.
Yeah, the tone is gonna switch for sure. But I do like the idea of this.
Who would have thunk it? Killing a cabin full of children will be a downer.
Yeah, cross the line. But it's the first film in the franchise where there are actual, like, not just a kid like Tommy Jarvis in 4. There is an actual full summer camp of children.
Yeah,
so
it actually is full summer camp. The only time it's happened in the series.
So the stakes are a little higher, which is why I like the threat of him possibly killing children.
Yeah, the threat is fine. Just don't
do
follow
through.
with it. Yeah, no follow through, please.
Pets and animals. Goes back and kills that dog on the side of the road at the beginning of the movie, or wolf, or whatever the fuck that is.
The potential dog kills that they skirt around in previous films as well. Like we have the dog in 2, yeah, and then we have the dog in 4. It's like, did it happen? Did it not happen?
So speaking of 4, I got to backtrack. I know we're trying to cover the whole franchise, but rewatching 4 today, which I watch 4 all the time, a lot. I had like an epiphany today. Trish goes out to Rob's tent, and that's when Rob is like, Jason is alive. And then Trish is like, oh my God, Tommy's back at the house. Let's go back to the house. They go back to the house. They check on Tommy for like a minute. And then they're like, hey, Tommy, we're going to go next door. After Trish is fully convinced that there's a killer on the loose. Hey, we're going to go next door. And then they take Gordon. They take Tommy's only protection. They take Tommy's dog and then leave Tommy home alone. I'm like, that's a dick move. But either way.
They need protection, man.
They don't. She's got Rob. He's got a machete and a pocket knife or whatever the fuck. But either way, I just wanted to
get busted up.
I just wanted to vent about them stealing the dog from the fucking 9-year-old kid.
That would not fly at all in this house if like our teenage daughter was like, oh, I saw this dude out camping by the house we're renting. He says there's a killer on the loose. I invited him over.
Yeah.
Oh, he has a gun and a knife on him. Definitely. I'm going to go introduce him to our younger sibling.
Yeah. Let him go up into the young sibling's bedroom.
Yeah. It's cool, right?
Yeah. Nope. Not cool. The 80s, man.
Sure.
The cocaine was flowing like water.
Thanks, Crispin.
Yeah, you motherfucker.
Speaking of 80s, we have our last 80. Well, no, we have two more. I was like, we have one of our last 80s era Fridays in 88 with The New Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie versus Jason. The definitive look for me of Jason. A definitive score, look, style. That is the most intimidating Jason to me, and one I always like playing when we play the game is I like to go to part 7, and if I don't kill everybody, I'm gonna scare the shit out of the few I do.
Yeah, no, it's a great look. It's the most detailed look.
It reflects every bit of damage taken to him in 6 previous films.
It is glorious. And also, my homeboy Billy Butler has a nice little role in this movie.
Yeah, we got Billy Butler. We get the intro to Kane, who's going to take over for 4 movies and just put a stranglehold on the Jason Voorhees ownership character. Like he and Jason are one and the same.
Yep, absolutely. And this is a whole different kind of Jason, you know?
Yes.
It's
this
so,
Jason doesn't run.
No, it's so mean.
Yeah.
It's a very, like, I don't want to call him menacing, but it's mean.
There's a rage.
Yeah.
In the body language of Kane's Jason. And we really get it, and we talk about it a lot in part 8 when he punches out that mirror to stab girl with the shards of glass, like how he punches that fucking mirror.
Mm-hmm.
There's just rage you can sense in that performance, and that's what he channels every time he's playing it. And I guess he likens it to being like a wild animal, like you're facing off with like a lion, like just breathing and watching it, and like you're not sure what, like, any movement you do might trigger the end.
Yeah. And one good thing about that rage and that just this anger that's kind of like permeating Kane in part 7, in one case in particular, the editing helps it, and it's the sleeping bag kill, which if you've seen any of the like raw footage from what the movie was supposed to be, he originally bashes that sleeping bag against a tree like 40 times. It's kind of silly. It's cool, but it's silly. And the way that it's edited down to one swing, like one definitive swing,
better,
really feels so much more angry. And
which is weird, because you would think the excessive would be up our alley, but totally we're both in the same boat of like, no, one's better.
One is real good.
Yeah, like 22 shots, like, I don't know, it would strike a different tone. Plus, you can actually physically see him getting tired of swinging this sleeping bag filled with like 20 gallons of fake blood in it. So like the first few swings pretty on point, but 6 or 7 swings in, you can see the one more.
Please call cut. I've had enough.
John, am I still swinging?
My arms are tired. This is bullshit.
Like, he talks about being exhausted from just doing the underwater sequences, but I'm sure his arms were shot the next day.
Snarls nailed it. He said Jason isn't a multiple swing, stab, or chop type of killer. Yeah.
One and done.
Yeah. I think, there are occasions where a couple of strikes are warranted.
I mean, by the time we get to Versus, he's just like one shot with a machete and he's slicing a whole body in half. So.
True. Yeah.
So yeah, one swing works better for that. The rest of the kill edits, I don't know. We can say the same thing for, like, dude getting his head squished down. That's cut way too short. Like, we just get the beginning of that, and then we don't see any more of it. Some more of the backstory on why. Like, I know we talked about it in the podcast, plug for that again, of like the logistical movements of the ugly duckling girl from going inside the house to outside the house and finding David, like in the deleted scene, she's like smoking with David
in the barn or whatever that is.
Yeah, which is why she's asking for David, which outside of that's like, why the fuck's she asking for this guy? Which I still hate that guy. Like, what an idiot. Fucking idiot.
Nobody likes David.
I hate David. I know why he's there, because he has some like Luke Perry kind of look to him, and like the girls are gonna be like, ew, but like, guy's a fucking idiot.
Well, he's
breaking
there because
lamp.
he's got the Ziploc bag of weed.
Yeah, that's the only reason he's there. He's busted out lamps. He's just stupid. He's the stupidest character. Yeah, he's just an idiot. Like, what a stupid place to put a lamp. What are you doing?
He's like hugging the wall, like walking.
I'm almost 40. I have never like smashed into a lamp accidentally.
True. Yeah,
have you ever Remix? Have you ever accidentally like smashed into a lamp? Yeah, bumbled into a lamp and broke it.
I don't think that lamps exist. Never seen one
Okay,
in my
there
life.
you go. There's 3 people. There's
Remix's spatial awareness is programmed. It's top of the line. He doesn't bump into anything.
Has anyone in the chat, have you smashed into a lamp and broke a lamp?
I don't know.
I mean, outside of being like, I'll even give you till the age of 12. Like,
Roger's lying.
You
broke a mercury lamp downstairs.
Oh yeah, we got that on film too, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere. Yeah, I tripped over the goddamn cord because,
though.
yeah, it was one of
okay,
our
tripped over a cord. This guy looks like he walked into a lamp and broke it that way.
True. So Freddie Voorhees quoted with "Need a little touch-up, work my ass." Absolutely, that's a good one.
And he sees all this mud and shit on the floor in the kitchen. He just like, what the fuck? And just walks
Better get a
over,
sandwich
like,
anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, just gonna continue on with this sandwich. Like, I ain't cleaning this shit up. Like, ugh.
He's the worst.
He's that guy who's gonna see a big fucking mess and be like, not my problem to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't live here.
Where's the turkey?
And just leaves the fridge door open, like, yeah, stab this motherfucker immediately. He deserves it.
Baratus asked what our thoughts are on the music in this movie. I know I
love it.
Touched on it a little bit earlier. There's like reoccurring theme. There's some certain music cues in this that are really good. The only music I'm not like 100% sold on is the opening credits music. It's basically just like a tone, like it's okay, but it's like
the credits for 7 are really bizarre because the end credits go by fast, like it's like a TV edit, and it feels weird. It gives it
they go fast.
It's not a theatrical release look to how the credits roll. It feels very made for TV to me.
Like you hurry up so you can play part 8. Yeah.
Yeah, I initially thought that. I was like, was this even theatrically released? Like, was this in the theaters? This feels like it was just made for TV really quick. Because the credits are just bizarre in 7. I don't understand that.
Yeah, it is very strange. But yeah, that's the only music cue I don't like, and I don't even not like it. I just don't like it that much. You know what I mean? Like when I hear it, I'm not like, fuck yeah, the opening credits music for part 7. But like, I'm not like, boy, I hate it. I'm just like,
fast forward.
Yeah.
There you
it's
go.
not like memorable to me. Like I would never make it my ringtone. You know what I mean?
Ironically, the main theme, the wife does have that as a ringtone for me when I call her. Like that's what pops up and plays. I don't know how she found it, but she did. I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty.
Snarl says, I'm not a fan of Tina. I don't mind Tina, but I don't think I like the actress. So.
Yeah, she's a puzzle to me. Like, I'm not sure if she would be cool to meet or not cool. Like
little Lar Park Lincoln.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff where I've heard a little bit of a snobby kind of approach, but she posts, or at least for a while, she was posting a lot about being, a fan of doing the movie and talking about it and kind of engaging. So it's like, maybe she's kind of like Tom Atkins. Like, you just gotta find the right formula and meet her under those circumstances, and it's fine.
I don't know.
Tom Atkins, don't meet him unless he's had at least his first 3 morning beers.
Cocktails.
Yeah, if he's got 3 Bud Lights in him by 9 a.m., then he's fine. But before that, just come back, circle back around.
Yeah. I just don't think I would like Laura Park Lincoln, to be honest with you. I don't know what it is, but I would try. I would try to meet her.
I think it's circumstantial. I think some people are going to be, some folks probably are like,
Matt in the chat says, some kids nowadays would definitely walk into a lamp. Those smartphones have ruined their focus and attention spans. Fucking word life.
That sounds like some old man shit talking right there.
Should we shake our hands at the clouds? I'm straight up. I'm with you, though, dude. Getting my daughter a smartphone was literally the dumbest thing that I've ever done in my life. So if I could take it back, I would.
I mean, it's I'll probably be seeing it all weekend long as I'll come out to the living room and be 3 or 4 people hanging in the living room, all of them looking at different screens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's fun hanging out with y'all.
Yeah. Family time sure is nice, isn't it?
Not.
I'm having a good time. Not. Kids were walking off cliffs and into traffic playing Pokemon Go. Yeah, for sure. Freddie Voorhees says, I thought Tina was all right. I liked her. She's not Jenny, Chris, or Trish, but I'd say she fought well enough. Telekinetic girl was a nice addition to me. Yeah,
she beats the shit out of Jason with her telekinetic power. There's some Home Alone level stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
Lightning in the face, falling through the steps, getting electrocuted. There's more of that rage shit, like when he pulls that nail out of his forehead. There's some like,
jaw.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, but I will say this. I know we were talking about how Buechler took this kind of back to a darker tone. Everything about that is spot on, except the telekinesis. I feel like the telekinesis makes it a little more slapsticky. It's a little more silly, even though they're trying to hit it 100% on that Brian De Palma Carrie tone.
That's one of the biggest complaints I've heard is like, telekinesis, that's ridiculous. Like, you're fine with a fucking zombie walking around, for God's sakes.
Yeah, no,
like, he's a living dead person, but you're like, don't bring telekinesis into this. That's a bridge too far for me.
Yeah, no.
What horse shit.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying it kind of is counterintuitive to the dark tone to me.
Well, I think it was thrown out there because that was the initial, like, what about getting Fred Krueger versus Jason? And I'm like, well, we can't do that.
That's when we first started talking about it, right? 88?
Yeah, because that's in both our heads. That's the fight we've always wanted to see. We never will see is Part 7 Jason versus Part 4 Freddy.
Would have been spectacular.
I want the 288 slasher icons to go head to head.
Yeah, I would literally give you every movie in 3B video to make that happen.
But we got a Carrie knockoff instead, which is okay.
It's fine.
It's
okay. Moving on. So before we move to Jason Takes Manhattan, the dispatching of Jason in this movie, wiggity whack for me. But
I'm fine with it.
I just, dead dad.
Confusing, sure, but yeah. Well,
confusing
if you're like, who the hell is that? Oh, that's her dad. But it's like, now I'm older and I'm like, now I can see like the weepy part of that. Like, her dad's still protecting her. Turn it off. Just turn it off.
It's making me cry.
I'm fine.
No, I just think it's.
Better with the original makeup design, or still not as good?
I don't like it.
Just in general.
So here's
how
what
would you end it?
I think.
How would you end New Blood?
I think the explosion is good, and then
that explosion is nuts.
Yeah, that's like gigantic explosion.
Like, I feel like somebody was like, "Shit, I didn't know it was gonna be that big." That's like some Tremors 2-level explosion.
It's gonna be big. Melted cameras and shit. They literally.
What?
They only got a couple of frames out of it, right? Because it melted the cameras.
Yeah. Like, everything I said was reduced to like the size of splinters coming off that house. Like, that's a bit much.
So I think the explosion is good. I would do the explosion and then have them get taken away in the ambulance, and I like the fisherman getting pulled in.
Yeah, that's cool. Maybe have him blown out to the lake again, or
yeah, exactly.
Have some burb shit like he's walking down the front steps as it blows up.
Slides down the steps. I'm sick. I'm sick. Yeah. Take me to the hospital.
Throws himself in that Ghostbusters looking ambulance from like 1945.
Where's Nick? He's fine.
Hear Pamela say like, I'll just follow you to the hospital, son, whichever one they take you to.
Yeah, I don't know. Part 7, like, that ending, man, just doesn't work for me. But I don't know. I mean, he's got to end up in the lake because the way part 8 opens with him, which I always have had a problem with, which I know Remix.
There's where the problem comes in, yeah.
When we did our live stream on this, Remix proved that it's true, because I've always hated that they run a power line to Camp Crystal Lake through the lake. And then he was like, they do that all the time to islands. How do you think islands have electricity? And I was like, generators? No, they literally have underwater power cables, so fuck me, I guess.
The power cables are fine. It's whoever installed them just worked them around a corpse that is tied to the bottom of the goddamn lake. That's the problem. But I can totally see it in the same aspect of being like, that's not my problem to deal with. I'm just here to put a fucking cord in the lake.
Well, I feel like the cord was there before the body.
I don't feel like it was. I feel like it had to be put in post.
Just
in my head, it was put in.
Of him?
Yeah, just drape it around him.
His fucking hand sticking up like this.
Boss, there's a body down here. Like, well, just put it around him.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
It's either a mannequin or a real body. I'm not sure.
Here you go. Here's some sharks attacking some internet cables.
Fucking doofy ass sharks.
And that's how Jaws 2 ended, didn't it?
Very similar.
Didn't Roy Scheider just hold one of those up?
Very similar. Yeah, so we kick into part 8, which is the end of the 80s. The end of Paramount. The end of Paramount.
Yeah, end of the run. But man, the height. We start with that holy weird bullshit of a fucking power cable under the lake, and this is around Jason. The silliness does not end in the movie.
No.
But I feel it's still, like I said, it's in my top 3. This is a fun Jason. This is maybe the most fun Jason movie.
Oh, it is. This is KY Jelly Jason, the movie.
And man, as it gets to, this probably gets the most hatred out there. Nobody but us likes Jason Takes Manhattan, I feel.
It was probably filmed in Groovy's backyard, so Groovy probably has been to filming
Groovy lives in New York.
Yeah, Vancouver, man. So
just alleyways and heroin addicts everywhere.
Every alley can be a New York alley. Just wet it down, throw some cardboard in it.
Wet. Streets look better wet.
They gotta be wet. That's 100%. But one cool thing about Manhattan, even though a lot of people give it shit for it all being on this cruise liner, there's some really, really unique lighting in this movie that start like we really like neon colors, and a lot of this franchise doesn't have neon colors, doesn't have those lighting techniques that you and I are accustomed to, but Manhattan does. In the cruise ship, for example, when the captain gets his throat slit, we've got a bright pink wall, we've got green walls like lit up with green for no reason for these light colors to be in this cockpit or whatever you call where they steer the fucking cruise ship. I don't know what that's called. Stern, the bow,
the deck. I don't know.
The deck, yeah, whatever that is. But and then also you have the disco room, the dance party room. It's got a bunch of cool colors. A lot of stuff like that in this movie. They kind of sprinkle in and give you some not so boring color palettes.
And then we get the insane insane visuals, but we also get insane logic. Like I know I broke down the numbers when we did the live stream about it, like how much more money it would cost to put these kids on a cruise ship from Jersey to Manhattan, as opposed, like, you could have busted them there for a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
And it's such a
only
short
like a 2 hour. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours, but in that time there's so much you can do, like go dancing or get into a boxing match and get your face annihilated so you are mildly concussed when you decide to go tour New York City.
Not only that, they're playing shuffleboard, they're skeet shooting. Like, you would just pick one of those activities and then you would be in New York. But instead, like, there's like, it's like a full-blown party on this.
They're not even moving at one point. Like, they knock girl off the boat and they're just there.
They also leave at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and then they're still on there at nighttime.
Yeah, it's nighttime. But yeah,
before the storm even happens, it's nighttime.
Before we get to the storm, but she's knocked off the cruise ship, and they just have enough time to have another guy jump off the same cruise ship and pull both of them back on board. Like, there was literally stories of, like, less than a month ago about a guy falling off a cruise ship, and they found him like the next day, floating in the water, barely alive.
Oh,
yeah. This one there was like, oh shit, just throw a raft down there. We'll pick her back up. We're not going anywhere.
Groovy
we gotta stretch just 2 hours into 12 real quick.
Groovy says Vancouver is wet and there's tons of druggies.
So you live in New York in 1989.
That ship is 100% a ferry, and my girlfriend's dad might have worked on it. Fucking probably. Oh, that's crazy. But yeah, this movie is super fun. I think my biggest gripe, that'll never stop being my gripe, is that the sewers of New York flood with toxic waste every night at midnight. I call bullshit. That's a ton of money on light bulbs. And
yeah, that and the complete negligence of safety on that is like, so this whole place is gonna flood every night at midnight. We're gonna put one guy that looks like John Carpenter in charge of checking out the entire sewer system with no walkie-talkies, no standby person, just him and his two hands
and a wrench.
Versus the entire island of Manhattan's toxic waste, which has spare toxic waste in barrels just laying down there.
Just in case there's not enough.
Yeah, in case the flooding every night isn't enough, you can empty out one of these barrels, which apparently doesn't move. They're just nailed to the ground. They don't get washed away with the other toxic waste, which apparently toxic waste just looks like soapy water.
Well, yeah, I mean...
I thought it was yellow.
Or green. Like
Yeah,
Ninja
I saw
Turtle
Ninja
shit.
Turtles.
I saw Ninja Turtles.
I saw Ninja Turtles. I know what toxic waste looks like. It doesn't look like that, but apparently it does. Or the fact that they don't get completely like RoboCopped when they get hit with the fumes off that, because they just climb a ladder, like a 12-foot ladder, and that toxic sludge comes probably 5-6 feet of a 12-foot ladder. So they should come out of that sewer looking like dude hit by the toxic waste and RoboCop just
melted and disgusting.
Yeah, just falling apart.
If I thought 7 had a weak ending, 8's got.
Eight's gonna make you go, man, 7 ain't too bad now. Let's go back to that.
It's like a layup, you know what I mean? It's like, well, you got it, but it wasn't impressive. Like,
Someone was dared, like, you know what? Make part 7's ending look better. Done.
I think my big issue with Manhattan is the fact that we have like 3 different looks for like young Jason. There's like a pudgy one with a full set of hair. Then there's like a pudgy one with a droopy eye. And then there's like a super skinny one that looks like a piranha that she has the vision and tries to run over.
Yeah, the slow motion still shots of.
Yeah, I think that just bothers me that there's so many different looks for him, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but we do get some interesting kills we get to do with a hot sauna rock shoved into his chest.
That's fucking incredible.
We get which has been a debate between the wife and I over which was the worst death, the sauna rock or Charles getting drowned upside down in a barrel of New York sludge,
which looks more like toxic waste than the toxic waste.
It does. Look, it kind of looks like the shit that Ogre is drinking at the end of Revenge of the Nerds 2.
Ugh.
But
like
we did ask
water.
We asked Kane, like, which do you think is the worst death to experience? And he was on my side because it clearly is the right answer.
Dunking in the juice.
Yeah, and we also get Jason doing some like we would get in the game. We would get some teleportations because he's at one point behind JJ, then teleports in this narrow ass power station to being right in front of her. And then we have other scenes where like he throws Charles out like a 3rd floor window. And in the next scene, he's right there at his feet already. Like, just
Goddamn
here I am.
Right. That's just bad editing, but chalk it up to teleportation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Teleportation introduction. Like you just, and he's there.
Yep, like the wind,
and he's gone.
baby. Super Shredder versus Jason Voorhees. Well, Super Shredder killed himself by knocking a dock onto himself, so.
Super Shredder has really weak quads, so all you gotta do is take out his quads, and then
it's
Shredder
true, he does.
down. I tore my quad.
That's some Kevin Nash deep cut for you folks who don't know, but now you know.
Go for the knees, and he'll just crumble.
Absolutely.
A stack of dimes.
But yeah, obviously I can't even just breeze past Manhattan without talking about Julius duking it out, which is a great scene, and again, it's another benchmark in the franchise. People have had to fight Jason or been, held down or attacked by Jason, but have never really like duked it out with Jason. Yeah, and this is that like moment in the franchise where you're like, what would happen? You know what I mean? What would happen if you tried to mix it up with him? Well, it end about exactly like you would think it would. You would not survive, and it's fun. It's just a fun, stupid sequence, and I love it.
That, and we get one of your other favorite things, the longest CB cord in film history.
And you can totally tell that dude's Canadian. I'm sure your friend's around here somewhere. He fucking says it. It sounds real fucking weird.
Your friend's around here somewhere.
But then dispatch sounds real American. Dispatch. Like he kind of switches into a not a New York accent, but for sure.
Drunk Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Jason. Man, yeah, Hacksaw Jim Duggan was on the news like a couple weeks ago. Somebody tried to break into his house.
He beat him to death with a 2x4?
Apparently he like tackled him and then held him at gunpoint, which is hilarious to me. Hacksaw Jim Duggan in with his fucking like Debo looking eyes with a gun right in his face. It could be like next to the carpet and he thinks it's next to his face.
Those bullets are made out of wood though. Chunks of this 2x4.
Like this is where the head is and the guy and his gun's right there. Like, I'll shoot you right in the hole. Oh, thank you.
There you go. So moving on, this live stream has fucking breezed right through, but so now we're entering the 90s. We're gonna bring Jason back, kinda.
Oh, we're bringing it back.
And this is another movie similar to Manhattan that just gets you either really like this movie or you wish this movie didn't exist. And you and I are both on the like, this is a badass movie. This is a badass movie.
Right next to 5, though. This is like, make sure the kids are put to the bed before you.
Yeah, it's sleazy as shit. But it's, and I'll stand on this mountaintop until I die. This movie, Jason Goes to Hell, has the best gore in the franchise. Best gore in the franchise, fucking hands down.
You're getting K and B in full force.
Mm-hmm.
Doing their thing. And
I love the look of Meatball Head Jason, even though we only get him for the opening and the finale. So
yeah, and that was I remember, and I'm sure I talked about it in the podcast. we covered for it, but that was in the local paper, like a shot of that Jason in the paper. And I was like, wow, that's an interesting look for it. Looks like the toxic waste really took its effect. Like it started making shit grow. He looks like Toxie with the hockey mask on.
All bubble-headed.
Bubblehead. Don't really agree with him having the fight he has with dude at the end of the movie. Steven, like Steven's the guy that should be. That fight should be it should go how we don't see it go down in part 6 when we see that little wormy dude that's a part of the paintball team. Like we just see broken glasses and a severed arm and a leg.
Litany of body parts. Yeah,
that should be what Steven looks like after a battle with Jason. It should not even be a battle. It should just be a quick dismemberment. But the fact that he gives him the fight he does is like, really?
But I will say this. As ridiculous as it is to let this guy get the final battle, so to speak, I do really enjoy. I kind of feel like Jason's toying with him. You know what I mean? When he throws him into the playground set, which I love, just yeets him into that fucking jungle gym. All that stuff I really like. And Kane just kind of moving slow and like, you know, you're going to hit me with a rake? Well, I'll hit you back with a rake. Like, it's almost like a tit for tat thing. Like,
yeah,
you can hit me all you want. It's not going to work. I'll give it right back.
Which is like weird because we've never seen Jason like play with his food like that.
True,
before.
so it is a little uncharacteristic. I get you.
It's uncharacteristic, and I know we're all in the same boat of like that. It really should have been Stephen Williams' character. It should have been the Duke the whole time.
Yeah.
Like Steven should have got his ass dismembered, and it should have been the Duke having this fight at the end of the movie.
We do get absolutely ripped off.
Duke gets done dirty in this movie. Like,
hashtag Duke done dirty.
Duke done dirty. And his character just goes bizarre, weird. Like when he decides to start razzing the local police.
Billy Greenbush?
Yeah, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Well, now
like, you gotta pay the price, which initially was money or 4 broken fingers, whichever comes first.
In prison, what can you know, or in jail, what you can do a lot with 4 broken fingers or not. I don't know. Like, it's not like he can go, hey, can I make a phone call, or hey, can I get a bag of Cheetos? I got 4 broken fingers. Like, there's not, you can't. It's not a currency that translates to jail time.
I said his character that takes some weird turns, but we do have one of our most quoted lines, definitely in video game form, is "I got a gun."
Fuck that. I got a gun.
I got a gun.
And also the Duke with my favorite line across the franchise, I think, which when we were playing the video game, I used every single time Jason would get a hold of me. You son of a bitch. You remember me? Because I'd try to break free. Tonight, my friend, you will die.
I'm more like the other thing we would do from the video game is like that we'd like to do is like just watch someone try to kill him and just stand off from like a far distance to go, that's just not gonna work.
That's right. I don't think so.
Yeah, look disapprovingly like that's not gonna kill him at all.
For that, you get the mask, the machete, the whole damn thing. I love
telling to Voorhees' eyes, black eyes like a doll's eyes.
I saw Beretta says he has mixed feelings towards this movie. A lot of people do, man, and that's totally cool. But the good thing about the Friday the 13th franchise is there's so many of them that there is a different flavor of popcorn for every type of horror fan. You know what I mean? If you like those like 100% strict whodunit, like Agatha Christie style slasher film, that's the first one. You know,
it's a franchise that's got whodunits, slashers, body hoppers, fucking space.
Yeah, whatever you want. There is something in this mixed bag for you, and that's what's so cool about it, right? Like,
it's essentially the carnival of movie franchises. You may not like 12 clowns coming out of a Pinto, but maybe you like the dude getting shot out of a cannon.
Absolutely. That's the perfect analogy for this franchise, dude. And Beretus asked what are my thoughts on the effects. Yeah, again, standing up on that soapbox. They're the best. They are the best. The split down the middle, the two heads getting smashed together. Just Everything in this movie is fucking top notch. The
everything
the cop melting.
Everything except Kane Hodder playing a security guard. He plays the worst. He plays the worst dead corpse I may have ever seen. Like, it's so like. I don't even joke. Like, that should be what we get. Is we get that printed out, the like icon of dead. Like, can you sign this, Kane? In my opinion, your worst acting ever.
He played a pizza one time.
Yeah, he played a pizza better than he played a dead man in Jason Goes to Hell.
God damn it. So then, we get our Jason Goes to Hell, and we get our setup for Freddy vs. Jason, but we don't get Freddy vs. Jason. I mean,
for 10 more years.
It takes forever. It's in development hell, so eventually the powers that be said, well, we got to do another movie, but we can't do it as a sequel to Jason Goes to Hell because the sequel to Jason Goes to Hell is Freddy vs. Jason. So what do we do?
And also, the rights have been sold, so like Cunningham has some of it, so they can do a Jason movie, but they can't call it Friday the 13th. So that's how we get Jason X, or I thought initially Jason 10, because it is technically the 10th movie in the franchise. So like the Jason 10, Jason X, I don't know. But yeah, we get Jason in space, and where every franchise goes eventually to die, but this franchise doesn't quite die, but damn, I feel like it gets close.
It's on
with this one.
So, and here's another thing we were talking about the other day, off air. You and I were talking about the Child's Play movies and how after Child's Play 3, we kind of switched into this motif of them. They weren't Child's Play movies; they were Chucky movies. Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, blah blah blah. And here, once New Line has taken over, they're not necessarily Friday the 13th movies. They are purely Jason movies. Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, Freddy versus Jason. So it's a weird tonal shift for sure. And oddly enough, I was actually talking earlier today about how I really have noticed how much I like the beginning of the franchise, and how even as much as I love Kane, I think like my least favorite films in the franchise start here, like towards this end, where I'm like, they're awesome, but man, are they like so different. You know what I mean? Especially this one, which I like.
You cannot watch Friday the 13th, 1980, and think, man, eventually this series will go to space.
Exactly. Like they don't. It just doesn't compute. And, but I will say this. I was first in line to see this in theaters. I was pumped. I had all the Fangoria magazine, like with Uber Jason on the cover and everything.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fun popcorn ride. It's only in retrospect when you go, I was in space, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in all honesty, it gets about as much playtime around here as part 1 does. So
I watch it frequently, but it hurts. Like, it hurts with repeat viewings. Like, the CGI wasn't good in 2001 or whatever. 2001, right?
I think filmed in 01, came out in 02.
So the CGI wasn't good then, and it's like 1995 Sci-Fi Channel level.
Like I said, like we even said when we covered it in the podcast, top level Sci-Fi Channel budget today. But a big budget movie is like,
pretty rough, but also one of the very first movies ever to be filmed.
I think wasn't it the very first completely shot digitally? I think
Remix debunked that for us at one point, that there was something else that was shot fully digitally, but this was up there. This might have been the first studio released film, filmed completely digitally, which I remember watching the special features and then being like, we could go in and literally put CGI in each frame if we want. We could edit individual frames, and me thinking like how fucking cool that was, like, wow. And now that's common practice. So
that's Jason X. So I was like, well, do we include Freddy vs. Jason being an brand like mashup, or I feel like we should just stick with Friday proper, because I would say technically I think we both are in the same boat of like Freddy vs. Jason is an Elm Street movie with Jason as
featuring Jason,
as a special dream warrior. So maybe that'll be its own gig one day. So we did got, and this was the end. Like, so in essence, going to space did kill this franchise
for a while.
We got nothing until we got all the way to the remake in 2009, which coming off previously the Texas Chainsaw remake, which I think the same guy directed that as directed this.
Marcus Nispel or something?
Yeah, Marcus Nispel. And we got the reboot. Went to the first showing, like not of the day, but like the first show that night. Wore T-shirts to the show, like totally was those people.
Oh yeah.
And it's essentially the first 4 movies crammed into one, and very gratuitous in its violence and nudity.
Yeah.
So very throwback like in that nature. And I totally dug it. And like I said, I don't understand why I didn't get immediately set up for more of them. Derek Mears takes over playing Jason. He does a fantastic job. I have no complaints at all about the reboot. It was good shit.
Yeah, no, it's a very fun movie. I will say, I did kind of go through a weird spurt. A good maybe 2-3
arms
years.
Folded season.
Nah, that's probably like a good 2-3 year, like, because I saw it in theaters and liked it a lot. Bought it day one on Blu-ray, liked it, and then I think there was just like a lull, and then when I went back to it, I was like, like this just doesn't. I don't know, like it wasn't doing it for me for a while. Like it was weird because it was like it delivered everything I wanted, but still wasn't satisfying me. And so then I just put it on the shelf, left it for like a year, and then when I went back to it, I went, oh, okay, like, because I was just living in that, you know, we literally, like, some of the previous films, like, we didn't see when they first came out, like, so we're getting the 80s kind of secondhand, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I kind of went through this thing where I'm like, man, I lived in 2009. I was there. Like, I understand this music choice and these outfits and this color grading. Like, it just feels like everything else, you know? And
doesn't
then
stand out like it should.
And so after I put some distance, and it wasn't 2009 or 2010 or 2012 anymore, I could go back and watch it, and it feels like 2009, and I'm far enough removed from 2009 that it works again. You know, is that like I never hated it, but you know what I'm saying? Like I was just too close to the
stuff that feels of the time. Like most movies that come out now, it's like they're of the time. They don't. There's just something about it. Doesn't have a sticking power to it. But once you get a little bit of time between the two, you can. Nostalgia is the most powerful drug I think that we both share. Like, oh, now it's old enough we can look back and go, man, you remember 2009? We were so much younger back then.
It's true. My back.
The world ahead of us, which truly, good Lord, so many things lied ahead of me in 2009 as opposed to 2023. It's like, oof, that's a for both of us. Definitely, we are different people entirely from that year to now.
I would kick the shit out of 2009 me, just saying. I would try to be his friend, but I don't think it would work.
Today's me would not be able to beat up 09 me. I'm too brittle and sore now.
But it is 10 o'clock, so before we leave, Evil, do you got a random trivia question for your last digital code, and then we will sign off for the week.
Name any actor that portrayed Jason Voorhees in any of the Friday the 13th films. Go.
The first one to name somebody.
First one to name any actor.
Wow,
spelling is correct.
Layups, low-hanging fruit this week. CJ Graham. Oh, no, CJ Grandma. Oh, Steve Dash. Freddie Voorhees wins.
Nobody said Ari Lehman.
Who?
No one said Ari Lehman.
Should we make him say Steve however the hell you say his whole last name?
Dashowitz.
Dashowitz with a million letters in it.
It's going to be Steve Dash.
Kane who?
You got to spell it right.
It is Dash.
That's not Dash. It's like Dashkowitz.
It's Dashwood. Clint Howard.
I'm Jason Voorhees.
It's Dashwitz.
I'm gonna kill your mom and dad.
That's not even. It's Dashkowitz.
Yeah,
There's no H. There's no H.
Yeah, he was. I think by frustration went Steve Dash just be like, just fucking write that instead. Give me a full name correct spelling. Y'all got it.
I guess Remix is vetoing you, Freddie Voorhees. So whoever knocks out the first correct spelling of any
give me a
person.
correct full spelling. Kane is correct. What's his last name?
Say Kane Holder.
Ted White.
Oh my
Ted
God!
White.
He
Boom,
did it
there we
again.
go. You came back with Ted White.
I was hoping someone would
Congratulations.
spell it
You are
wrong.
now the digital owner of the Batman.
Nice.
There it is, Kane Holder. I was waiting for it. I hope you heard my joke.
Kane Holder. That's me now. In 2009, I could walk with my own two legs, and now in 2023, I'm a cane holder.
More like
Freddie
Kane
Voorhees
holding,
in the Discord.
Yeah, I believe so.
Kane holding my place for Ken Kersinger.
Theodore White.
Teddy White. That's
All
a
right.
wrestling. That's a WWE referee, sir.
So,
Warrington Gillette.
Freddie
that dude
Voorhees.
gets all the credit now. He's like, fuck Steve Dash. It's my show now.
Drop the Discord in the link.
Drop the Discord in the link.
In the
Drop
chat,
in
I mean.
Discord.
Drop that Discord. If Freddie Voorhees, if you're not in our Discord, join our Discord. And Remix will send you the digital code for The Batman.
Great movie. I love
I'm
the
looking
Batman.
for it.
Ted Atlas.
But on that note, guys, it is 10 o'clock. So we are going to hit the road, and we'll be back next week because, after all, a lot of movies out there. Somebody's got to watch them. So why not us? Right?
Going to Camp Blood.
Kane Holder.
Hi, my name's Mikey, and it's my goal to turn my home into my own private video store. When I started this channel, I only had a handful of tapes. And now I can swim through them like I'm a VHS Scrooge McDuck. On my channel, we're gonna pay our respects to the last remaining video stores. We'll review some VCR tech. And we'll probably build some stupid stuff out of VHS tapes. The VHS community is the best around. And dudes, I can't wait to meet you guys.
I've been the verbal Norman Bates since 1998. Sick of all the hate, I'm about to kill them all today. I'm a hip-hop fusion with screws that are loosen, genre abusing, vomit on blueprints. You couldn't box me in a coffin. Locked in, I'm the monster from the trioxin toxin. Don't forget it, I'm a sick, twisted idiot, killing off little kids, say I'm out revision it. Get it, bitch, I'm a Camp Crystal Lake type. Waiting late night, get you with a steak knife. Verbal monster, yeah, you know the rest of it. Crash your slumber party, make a mess of it. I'm on some driller killer maniac ill shit. Duct tape, shovels, drill bits. Say I'm not hip-hop and it's a feud. I'm in a troll 2 mood and you bitches are booed. You don't want it with me because I'm coming and I will not stop until you all are running. I'm bringing the pain, stomping out brains, killing these lames. Cause I'm a monster. I am the man with the visions of death, the bringer of stress, the killer of flesh, the illest and yes, I'm filling requests. So tell me who's next. Cause I'm a monster. Yeah, they live. Roddy Piper wasn't lying. I'm about to get violent. So much being silent. I'm a proper blend of attitude and essence, letting out aggression with my vocals as a weapon. So much cookie cutter crap that these kids are calling rap. I just sit back and laugh while they call me an ass. And I'm supposed to just take it, watch you fake it like you're so amazing. I'm the slaughterer, known as the monster that's coming for all of you. Pray to your father. Cause I'm sick of all the lame rhymes. I'd kill 99% of you with one line. One lawnmower strapped to my chest plate. Now that's the best way to leave a mess of dead weight. And so it's said I'm the Voorhees of the rap game. Overstay my welcome, but still leaving cats slain. You don't want it with me because I'm coming, and I will not stop until you all are running. I'm bringing the pain, stomping out brains, killing these lanes. Cause I